Hello and welcome to the Stylish Wellness Podcast. I'm Sarah Banks, your guide to mastering personal style and authority. I've built a successful couture business designing handmade wedding dresses and bespoke occasion wear for women who value elegance and individuality. Now I bring that expertise to help ambitious women like you step into your confidence, express your unique style and make an impact, starting with the clothes you wear. If you're ready to elevate your wardrobe, your mindset and your presence, you're in the right place. Let's create a life and a style that truly reflects the remarkable woman you are. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Stylish Wellness Podcast. This week I want to talk to you again about style authority, but this time I want to talk to you about creating style authority through your clothes. I was reflecting on the fact, you know how people say that you don't get given a parenting manual before you have children, and then the baby arrives and you think, oh my word, how can I be left in charge of this tiny wee thing? And when are the grown-ups going to come back and resume charge of this situation, as I clearly am not qualified to be the responsible adult here? I don't know why we wait until parenthood arrives to our friends, family, or even ourselves in order to trot out that little phrase. I mean, it applies to the whole of our adult lives. There is no manual. There are barely any rules. I mean, not about the things that really matter. About things that really don't matter, such as parking and driving, there are far too many rules. I don't know if you feel the same, but at the moment in the UK, especially in London, new parking restrictions go up all the time and we're constantly falling foul of them, like we're driving faster than 20 miles an hour or we're going down a street that's now destined for residents only and we don't realise, so then we get a fine, and then they change the regulations on the street and you can't park there between certain hours and you don't realise, and then they change a disabled parking bay and you don't realise, so you park half across it and then you get a fine. Not that these are any of my recent mishaps at all, but this is how it is. There are loads of rules about fines, but I don't think that there are that many rules about life. Like in general, our lives are quite rule-free in the West. And I think that that's just an amazing thing, isn't it? You know, that we have the freedom to do what we want with our lives. Of course, that also means that the onus is on us to decide what we want to do and how we're going to do it. And so the downside is that we don't know, and we don't know where to go to find out. I mean, sometimes we don't even know that we can find out that there is a way out, a solution. So we get to adulthood and mostly things are okay. Some people will go through difficult times earlier on in their adult lives, but for most of us, we scrape by, don't we? Or sail through, whichever applies to you. But then we hit roadblocks and we don't know where to go. Parenthood, tricky relationships, hard work, bills, responsibility, life change, circumstance change, bereavement. It's easy just to be thankful that we're just getting by. And I don't mean to paint a negative picture. I'm just reflecting the conversations I have with people I know and how we're just managing and getting through life. And sometimes we just feel that we're just holding on, you know, for, I hate that phrase, but holding on for grim death. But we're not really actually. We're holding on for abundant life, really. But we feel like we're holding on and that we're on one of those fairground rides, you know, and going up and down and up and down. And we're just lucky to hold on and to stay within the cart without being flung out. That's how it feels. And so we have all that going on where we feel more or less like we're in a washing machine or a dishwasher every day of our lives. And we're just lucky to escape stumbling across the floor, head spinning at the end of the day. But with all this work that I've been doing, both for Lose 5 Stylize Organize and also for the work that I'm doing on personal authority and the authority experience, I've been wondering where we go to claim back our sense of being. Where do we go to claim back our sense of beingness and of groundedness and of it just being okay to be us? And where do we go to re-establish our beingness and know that we're enough? And spiritually, there are plenty of places where you can go. And some of us discover this earlier on in our lives and some of us discover it later on in our lives. There is a spiritual journey to be had if you are open to that. For some people, for many people, they find that spiritual journey enlightening and exactly what they need to help them deal with their lives in a very ontological way, in a way to do with the nature of being. So that's perhaps an overarching arc over our lives of how to deal with things. And then, of course, there are negative ways of how to deal with our sense of being and sense of belonging, which are to do with, the negative habits that we accidentally develop, like smoking and drinking and taking drugs. We don't set out to be addicted to things or to use things as a crutch or to be habituated to things. But that's how it gets, because that's how it's our way of dealing with the world. And so this wonderful freedom that we're given can be very quickly reversed, or rather, over a period of time, it can be reversed. And it seems quite quick when you look back on it, because it can be that sort of slippery slide. I don't mean to sort of bring the conversation down to a really small level to talk to you about the fact that you can reclaim your style authority through your clothes. But sometimes it's the really small things that actually make the biggest difference. While I can't help you right now with your spiritual enlightenment, and I can't help you right now here on this podcast or in the work that I'm doing with serious things like addiction, I can help you with things like your style authority and how to get up each day and feel secure in yourself, and how to get up each day and know that you being you is enough, and that what you're bringing to the world today is enough. And that is a really wonderful thing, because for many of us, we get up each day and we don't know whether we're enough or not, because there is no manual. There's no manual for us to refer back to and say, well, if you do this, this and this, then you are enough and then you'll feel better. That's probably one of the reasons why having a morning routine and people encouraging us to have morning routines is so popular, because it's a bit like saying, if you get up, you have a quiet time, whether it's meditation or prayer time or whatever it is that you want, you do some exercise, you journal, you have a healthy breakfast, and then you get ready for your day. That sets you up, and it does set you up. And for many people, myself included, to have a start to my day that begins like that is just wonderful, and that does set me up really brilliantly. But it doesn't help me to understand my beingness, by which I mean the beingness inside of me, who I am I enough? What am I bringing to my life today? This is something that I've been really studying in my work that I'm doing, my research that I'm doing on authority, because as you know, I have got a new offer coming up shortly, and it's all around authority. It's called the Authority Experience. I'll talk about it in more depth another time and soon, but I can just say for now that it's a program for women who want to step into the next level of their lives. So it could be one of many things. It could be that you're already relatively senior in your work and you'd like to take it one step further. You'd like to go for a promotion. You'd like to develop your work. You'd like to take your work onto a bigger stage and be better known. It could be that you're returning to work after an extended time away, after an extended career break. You've been away looking after family or children, or just had a break away, and you're coming back now and you need to come into the workforce or come into the workplace. You want some help getting there. And you could also be perhaps a little bit younger than those two categories, and you're forging ahead in your career. You know that you would like to really develop yourself and develop the work that you're doing, move from a more junior position to a more medium senior position, and you just need the help to get there. That is not just a question of creating a new CV, because of course what I do is help women to step into their authority using their clothes. I have the concept called the zone of peace, which is where the outer you meets the inner you. So the outer you, which is who you are on the outside, how you look, how you present yourself, meets the inner you, which is how you feel on the inside, what's going on in the inside, what's your self-esteem like, how well are you, how mentally well are you, how physically well are you. And then where those two meet is the zone of peace. And that's the perfect place, if you like, because that's the crossover at which you're going to feel your best. The outer you meets the inner you, and there is this sense of peace about you. You feel peaceful, but you also feel authoritative and in control. So you know all my work about that. So with last week's podcast on style authority, and I wanted to do something similar for this week, I also wanted to talk about the fact that despite the fact that we're not given a life manual, and at certain times in our lives, like parenthood, for example, or just reaching adulthood, we would be very grateful to have received a manual, that actually we can use our clothes to create that manual for ourselves. And I want to just talk about 3 really small ways today that you can use your clothes to create your style authority. I hope that what these tips will do is to, if you do them yourself, is for you to feel that sense of commanding presence that you get with even the smallest tweaks to your clothes and your wardrobe. First, I just want to tell you a quick story that illustrates what I want to talk to you about style authority, and how it seems to be such a small thing, but actually it's so vital for us. Years ago, I did not think about style authority. I was just too caught up in hoping I looked thin enough, good enough, like everyone else enough to avoid criticism. Looking back, I can't believe how much of my confidence I placed in just trying to fit in. But here's the irony. Even as I longed to blend in, there was a part of me that yearned to stand out, to be different, to be myself. When I first started designing and making clothes, it felt liberating. I could finally create something just for me. I had always struggled to find trousers that fit, too big on the waist, too small on the hips. Some of you will know exactly what I mean. So when I made my first pair in a bold red cotton, and they fit me like they were meant for me, which they were, waist, hips, length, everything, it was life-changing. For the first time, I felt like I belonged, like I had a place in the world exactly as I was. And at the same time, I felt uniquely me, confident, capable, ready to take on anything. All because of a pair of perfectly fitting red trousers. When I think about style authority, I go back to that moment, the moment I realised that clothes are more than just fabric and stitching. They shape how we see ourselves and how we show up in the world. It's not just about the garment itself, but something intangible yet unmistakable. Presence, confidence, authority. That's why in this week's podcast, I'm building on last week's discussion and diving deeper into how to command style authority through your clothes. Because yes, your authority is something you carry within, but the right clothes can help you step into it in a way that transforms how you see yourself and how the world sees you. Oh, and the red trousers? I still have them 30 years later. A few years ago, they got splattered with paint. Not my fault. I was totally devastated. Now they've been relegated to DIY and garden duty. But they still remind me of that moment, of what's possible when we dress in a way that truly fits who we are. I'll find the trousers and I'll post a picture of them on Instagram, and when you see them, go on over and tell me what's one outfit or item of clothing that has made you feel truly powerful. Now, down to those tips to help you dress with style authority. You've heard the saying, behind every successful man is a strong, determined and hard-working woman. But let me ask you, who's standing behind that woman? And even more, behind every successful woman is who? In today's world, every successful woman deserves someone in her corner, someone who understands what it takes to look, feel and live like the best version of herself. And that's where I come in. As a busy, ambitious woman, your time is precious. That's why I've created the Chic Authority Collective, a free, bi-weekly newsletter designed to help you unlock your personal authority through the power of style. This isn't fluff or another overwhelming to-do. It's actionable, no-nonsense advice for building a wardrobe and a life that reflects your confidence, ambition, and unique brilliance. Join our community of like-minded women who are too busy running the world to worry about what to wear, but still want to make every outfit count. The link is in the show notes. Sign up today and take the first step towards claiming your personal style authority. Your journey starts now in the Chic Authority Collective. Looking at 3 ways to create style authority through your clothes. Number 1 is fit is everything, and you should command your presence through the fit of your clothes. One of the fastest ways to instantly elevate your style authority is by wearing clothes that truly fit. Not just good enough fit, but made for you fit. When your clothes fit properly, you don't have to adjust them, tug at them, or feel uncomfortable. You simply own the space you're in. So, take one piece from your wardrobe, a blazer, a pair of trousers, a dress, whatever, and ask yourself, does this fit me perfectly? If not, consider tailoring it or replacing it with something that does. Now, I know that not all of you are going to make yourself a pair of red cotton trousers, and I know that not all of you are necessarily going to have access to someone who will make your clothes for you from design to the finished garment. And I know that for some of you, you will even struggle to find someone just to alter your trousers or alter your dress. I think most dry cleaners now seem to have a pretty good alteration specialist. They do seem to be much more prevalent than they were a few years ago. So the things you should be looking for fit are, actually, I think I covered this last week. Does it fit on the shoulders? Is the shoulder seam in the right place? Are your shoulder pads in the right place? Is your sleeve in the right place? Does it fit you properly on the waist? It's not too loose, it's not too tight, it just sits properly on your waist. And is the hem length correct? Does the hem length of the skirt, for example, if it's a mid-length skirt, the hem length should finish just at the point where the leg from the calf indents in before it comes out again from the knee. You want it to just cut off at the point where the leg goes in, because that's going to elongate your leg. Whereas if you have your skirt hemline right slap bang in the middle of where the calf is, that's where, if you're looking upwards, the calf is getting wider, and so you're going to look like you have shorter, sort of chunkier legs than you actually do. You might actually have perfectly wonderful legs, but if your skirt hem length is cut off at the wrong point, then it's a bad fit. It needs correcting, and these are really simple things that you can do at very little expense that's really going to command authority in your wardrobe. Secondly, choose colours that speak for you. Certain colours carry authority and presence. Think about how you feel when you wear deeper clothes. A dark blue, I hate to always have to go back to navy because it's such a uniform colour, a colour of the uniformed forces, for example. But actually navy is known as the colour that commands presence, almost more than black actually, because black has funereal connotations and that navy doesn't. So navy is commands presence, black commands presence, dark grey, dark green, those darker colours have more presence about them. So if you need more presence, more authority, more commanding authority, these are the colours you need. You don't need the pale pinks, the apricots. That's for an entirely different look. Of course, you can wear your navy suit with an apricot shirt underneath. That would look amazing. But that should not be your predominant colour if you're looking to command authority. Actually, conversely, colours like white and cream, those pale colours, can command authority, because the thing is, most of us can't wear those colours day to day from purely a practical point of view. We don't wear the all-white suits all day, every day. Well, actually, some women do, and they do command authority, because what it says to everybody, without even speaking a word, is the kind of life I live, I don't get dirty, and I don't need to worry that my clothes are going to get dirty. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm talking really fast in this podcast. I've just listened back to a small clip of it. I'm very passionate about this subject, as you might be able to tell, and it might mean that from time to time, the speed of my language speeds up, as it has done today. So I hope I'm not too much. You might have to just slow down the podcast speed maybe to 0.75. Your style authority begins when your colours reflect the energy you want to bring to the world. Now, I do understand that sometimes you want to bring a commanding energy and it's not necessarily a navy energy. I do get that. But if you're going for commanding presence and commanding authority over everything else, then those darker colours are probably the colours that you do want. In the summer, you can get away with probably a greater variation of colours, but then I think that if you still want to maintain that same amount of authority, you'd have to make sure that your clothes were styled in a particular way. For example, if you want to wear a pale blue suit in the summer and still command authority, you can absolutely do that. But you'd probably have to have quite a formally tailored outfit in order for the colour and the style combination to still command authority. But we'll deal with that when the summer comes. So your action step for this is to identify one power colour that makes you feel strong, capable and your best self. And I'm going to make you an allowance that it doesn't have to be the usual power colours, it just has to be yours. So if yours is a dark purple, a dark green, for example, a dark red, red can be a bit tricky as a colour because it's also a colour of danger and alert rather than just commanding presence, but red can be very authoritative. And so it could be a darker red. I'm just going to allow you your power colour and choose something to wear that makes you feel strong, capable and your best self. And thirdly, we've talked about this quite a bit on the podcast and also in some of the blog posts that I've written. Develop a signature look that feels and looks like you. Now, this is partly to do with the zone of peace, where the inner you meets the outer you and you have your zone of peace, because you're developing a signature look, which is the outer you that feels like you. That's the inner you. Because style authority isn't about blending in. It's about showing up in a way that feels authentic. That's why women with unmistakable presence all have a signature style. If you think of, the famous classic beauties of our time or the classic stylish women of our time, they have signature styles. Their clothes are an extension of who they are. In fact, I think the Hollywood machine, of the 40s and 50s, they manufactured actresses to look a particular way and they all had a commanding presence of their own. So if you think back to someone like Rita Hayworth, she was very differently styled and dressed than, say, someone like Marlene Dietrich, for example. And so all these different actresses, they were purposefully styled in a different way so that they represent different kinds of feminine authority and not the same kind, so that women going to the cinema would be able to identify with different aspects of those women. It's very interesting, actually, isn't it? Because it goes to show you that actually sort of commanding authority and presence and style authority, it's not one size fits all, and we all like something different. So throughout these 3 tips that I'm giving you, make sure that you're looking for something that is uniquely you. Don't try and copy me or copy your best friend or whatever. Go and search out those style items that give you your personal style authority, and then you'll never feel like you're in a sort of cookie cutter environment where one size fits all and you've got to fit in by all wearing a black suit. You might have to wear a black suit to work, but you can do it in your own special way. And I hope that this podcast is helping to show you exactly that. So for develop a signature look that feels like you, your action point is to think about one outfit or combination of pieces that makes you feel most like yourself, and what elements could become part of your signature look. So that's a way of helping you to develop your signature look by finding something in your wardrobe that you really love and can develop for yourself as a signature look. So really, what I want to say today is that style authority isn't about following someone else's rulebook at all. By all means, use my guidelines, but use it to create your own style authority. It's about choosing pieces that make you feel strong, capable, and authentically you. So what's one piece of clothing that has made you feel powerful? I'd love to hear. Come on over to Instagram or Facebook and let me know. I'll put posts up that say style authority and you can put your comments underneath. And don't forget to check out pictures of my red trousers when I find them and put them up. Well, amazing women, that is what I have for you today. How to create your style authority through your clothes. 3 easy but stylish ways for you to develop style authority with your clothes. I hope that wherever you are, you're having a really great week. And I hope that this podcast has been of benefit to you and have been of service to you, and that you will be able to take tips from it and use them to create your own beautiful personal style. I look forward to seeing you here, same place, same time, next week. Have a good week. Bye for now.